Well, when you want to buy American or you want to buy anything else, you're just going to pay more. That's just a fact. Now, a lot of Americans are prepared to do that. Even Dan Geltrude. Now, I kind of offended, I think, friends of Dan, maybe Dan himself, when I said that he was cheap. He's not cheap as much as he watches his pennies. So that he's actually a very generous guy, which is a fancy, nice way of saying he is cheap in a good way. But Dan, it's good seeing you.
Hey,
What
Neil.
do you make of this? Because a lot of Americans are looking at what will be shortages in the rest, and some appear to be willing to pony up the cash, but there's a limit to their, I guess, patience with this. What do you see happening?
Well, Neil, as you pointed out, being a frugal guy, I think the whole reason that you had this push to foreign manufacturing was because American labor was simply too expensive, and the end result was that the products were too expensive. So in order to meet the demand of how much people would pay for certain products, you had everything going overseas. However, now we see the shortcomings of this international supply chain. So what I would say is this: if we can really be competitive in terms of pricing to end users, then I am all for Made in America. Otherwise, you know me, Neil, I got to look elsewhere.
I'm wondering if, looking at the big supply chain issue and the inflation that even the Fed now has acknowledged isn't temporary, it isn't just going to be passing. When they say it's going to take a good half year to work out into next year, I'm thinking, all right, add a year to that. Where are you on this?
Well, I'm exactly there, Neil. When inflation hits, it doesn't retract so quickly. How can it? As things get more expensive, why would the price come down? It would mean that there has to be some type of substantial movement related to the cost of production. Now, where is that going to come from? We've already inflated wages. Are people going to be making less money in the future? No. If anything, they're going to continue to make more, which is going to keep the price of goods at an elevated level. So the inflation is a very serious issue. And I think in the election results that we saw related to New Jersey, related to Virginia, I know there were other issues involved, but to me, inflation and economics were really the heart behind why people said we need a change, simply because we can't afford where we're going.
Yeah, if you think about it, states like New Jersey, which already have incredibly high taxes, and you're adding higher prices to that, it's sort of like some, salt in the financial wound there. I am curious, what is your take on the election results this week? And because if it's supposed to change, some of this progressive behavior to come up with big spending packages, it hasn't. Quite the opposite.
You know, Neil, I think you can really analyze what happened in New Jersey, for example, over and over again. But I like to keep things simple. And I wouldn't necessarily say that people were coming out to vote Republican. Now, I know Republicans will say that I got that wrong. I think people were voting their unhappiness. They wanted change. They were saying somebody needs to fix this. Whether you're red or you're blue, do something. Business as usual in New Jersey is not cutting it. Everything is simply too expensive. And how about this, Neil? People are voting with their feet. They're getting out of New Jersey. They're migrating to Florida or Texas or some of the other states which have no income tax. It's very simple.
Yeah, they just follow that money and where they can save it. Dan, thank you. Very good seeing you again. Dan Geltrude, following all these fast-moving, pricey developments. We're also